Alright, Schlockmeister fans, today we got a brand new release. Not a brand new film, but a brand new release from Grindhouse Releasing. A film I've had in my collection for 30 plus years. Let's check it out. Death Game. Let's watch it. Seymour Cassell plays George Manning. And that's his wife. Anyway, she's leaving for a few days, and George is going to be on his own.
Big meeting on Saturday you've been looking forward to.
Don't worry about it. Just call me, and I'll fly right up.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So his doorbell rings, and Colleen Camp
You happen to know where the Gregory's live?
and Sandra Locke are there.
Not around here, no, I don't. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
They claim to be lost on the way to a party.
We're so dumb. The party's on South Park Drive. We're on North Park. We're on the wrong side of town.
I told you we're going in the wrong direction.
Susan, do you think somebody could come pick us up?
No, thank you.
But they seduce him. And they spend the night.
You know, I could really fall in love with him. Donna. I could.
Just about to get
George wakes up the next day surprised to find them still there. They're making breakfast and making themselves at home.
I thought you would have left last night.
Well, you were so nice to us that we thought we'd stay and make breakfast for you.
And they're a bit obnoxious.
Why, George?
Well, so I can give you a ride home.
We're on the road, George. We don't have a home, George.
I seem to remember you saying something last night about leaving that address to the party at home.
Oh, that was just an expression, George. I lost the damn thing. That's what I meant. Just a joke.
He tires of them real
Just
quickly.
teasing you, George. Honest.
Get up and get your clothes now.
That's what you want me to do. You were sure very nice to us last night. You must have. Now, what happened, George? No, I think there's something you want to know now, George. Big jail thing.
Come off it.
It's true, George. Want to check our IDs?
No, I don't want to check anything. I don't want to see anything. I want you to get dressed and we're getting out of here, or I'm...
Or what, asshole? Then, she's 15 and I'm 17. Do you know what that means?
It's true, George. I'm only 15. Statutory rape, George. Shove that in your ear.
Be the police.
He's not dissuaded, though.
You win.
Get out.
Want to give us a ride?
So he agrees to drop them off at the bus station somewhere in San Francisco. But when he goes home, they've beaten him to it. And they mace him.
It really works. Yeah, we should get some of this stuff to carry around for our own protection.
They tie him up and they kind of destroy the house.
Ew, you got chocolate all over George's grandparents.
I think these ladies have a few screws loose.
Ever since Mama brought you home, I loved you. I only wanted to love you, Daddy. You pretended to be asleep, remember? You pretended to be asleep, remember?
Chaos.
Fucking leave her alone, man.
They tried to drag him downstairs and he started to come loose. Until then.
You ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Hey! Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
Having used all the food on George, they call a delivery man who recognizes George's voice when he yells for help. But they're able to beat him unconscious. But they're not done with him yet. They take his unconscious head and put it in the fish tank. They then put George on trial.
Should we frown, Dad?
Guilty as charged on all counts. It deems him a public menace. And therefore decrees that his life should be terminated.
Apparently they have plans for the cat, too. These are not nice ladies. They give him 6 hours before they're going to kill him, and they spend that time making love. A last meal.
For a while you're going on a very long trip.
6 hours are up.
You ready to die, George? You're going to? Get ready for the next run, George!
They're not going to kill him. Instead of killing him, they just leave him and leave.
Who's the man who made me what I am today? Who's the man who told...
And then an abrupt ending to the film you didn't see coming. All right, let's talk about Death Game. Now, I've had this movie in my collection since probably 1989 or so. I rented it from a place called City News and Videos in Manitowoc, Wisconsin back in the day. Old mom and pop video store, oldest one in the county, I think. And they had it under the title The Seducers. That's how I originally saw this movie. I remember watching it at the time and I kind of enjoyed it. Colleen Camp and Sandra Locke are in this. Years later, I got it on DVD under the title Death Game. It's a pretty cheap DVD, and now, thanks to the good hopes of Grindhouse Releasing, they've put it out on a nice fancy Blu-ray here. So anyway, the movie is kind of a remake of a movie, apparently I wasn't even aware of it, called Little Miss Innocence, which also called like Teenage Innocence or something like that, which they included as an extra on here. So I'm going to check that one out soon too. It was remade again. This was remade like in 1980 under a title called like Vicious and Nude or Nude and Vicious, something like that. And then they remade this basically again in 2015 with Keanu Reeves called Knock Knock, which is a movie I think I have in my collection actually. I saw that one too. So anyway, the movie itself. This guy lives in a nice house. His wife is going away for the weekend or something like that, so he's got the house to himself. And these two ladies, Agatha and Donna, knock on the door. Sandra Locke and Colleen Camp. They basically say they're lost. They're trying to go to this party, and it's raining, pouring rain. He lets them in, and they call their friend to come get them because they went on the wrong street or something. Anyway, they're lost, but he lets them stay for a little bit, and then the friend never shows up. One of the girls goes upstairs to the bathroom and says, "You gotta see this bathroom, it's really cool." So she takes her other friend up there, and when they don't come back, he goes up there, and they're in the bathtub, sleeping. They're in the bathtub naked, and they get out of the bathtub, and they start like rubbing up on him, and he's like, no, I'm a married man, I can't do this, but he gives into temptation. Next thing you know, there's a threesome going on in the bathtub, and they're all having a grand old time. So they end up spending the night, and then the next morning, they're making breakfast, and he gets up. He's like, "Geez, I thought you guys would be gone." But nope, they're making breakfast, and they basically at this point decide they're not going to leave. And they're a little bit annoying, obnoxious, and eventually he gets sick of him. He's like, "You guys just better go. Let me drive you somewhere. You better go." But then he does drive them away at one point. Well, first of all, before that happens, though, the girls are like, basically, you know what? She's 15, I'm 17, we're jailbait. We can get you in big trouble. So he's like, "What do you want?" he wants to get rid of him at this point. And he's really realizing he might be in trouble. But eventually he decides he's going to call the cops. Fuck these two chicks. He's going to just call the police. And then Sandra Locke says, you win. So he offers to drive them somewhere, and he does. He drops them off somewhere. And when he goes back home, the girls are there again. They've broken into the house, and then they mace him. They tie him up, and they basically terrorize him, dump food all over him, torture him a little bit, not really painfully, but they tie him up, and they destroy the house. And they basically, at one point, the delivery driver comes over, drops off some food. They end up killing the delivery driver, drowning him, and then in the big fish tank there. And then they tell, I think his name was George, that they're going to kill him too. You are sentenced to death. And then they get this cleaver out, but they don't actually kill him. They decide, nope, we're just going to leave. So they leave. They have a grand old time. They just leave him there tied up in the house. And then very abruptly at the end of the movie, they get hit by this like ice cream truck or something, and they die. They smacked them pretty hard, and that's how our movie ends. So there you go. That is Death Game. Now, again, it's a pretty cool movie, actually. It's got some nice nude scenes in it, too, from both of our stars here. And it's just, it's very creepy. It's not really a home invasion movie because he let them in, but it's kind of like a nightmare scenario where he's kind of screwed because he did sleep with these ladies. They say they're underage, but, in real life, Colleen Camp, I think, was 24, and Sandra Locke was like 34. So she didn't look like she was 17, like she claimed, but whatever, right? So they probably their characters weren't that old either, but I'm sorry, they weren't that young either, but nonetheless, they had the upper hand on him by telling him that they were, so he was kind of screwed. So anyway, that is Death Game. Now, I got to say, this Blu-ray looks absolutely fantastic. Grindhouse did a great job with this. Like I said, the previous DVD that it was out there, which actually got very expensive. Glad I bought it years ago. It's kind of muddy and murky and not looking great. The old VHS didn't look that great, but again, this Blu-ray looks absolutely fantastic. I threw in Little Miss Innocence just to see how that looked, and that looked pretty good too. So I'll probably review that very soon as well. But anyway, Death Game. Now, they put this out several months ago to Grindhouse, and it came with a lot of little trinkets, like a little axe you could buy, or like it was like a keychain or something like that. Just a bunch of little extra stuff. And I decided not to go for it at that point, assuming it would be re-released later on without all the trinkets, and it was. But like the day before I was going to buy it, they sold out. I was really pissed off. I was like, damn it, I could have done it too. I just waited for whatever reason. I just dragged my feet a little bit, and it was sold out. So I was mad. Then maybe a couple weeks after that, I decided to write an email to Grindhouse and say, hey, any chance you're going to re-release this again? Or is there any extra ones laying around? I really want to buy one. I went to your website and they're gone. They never answered me, which I was kind of irritated about. At least they could have just sent me an email saying, sorry, no. But instead, about a week and a half after I wrote that email, it was announced that they had some extra copies available. So I went in and snatched it up. And I'm glad I did, because looked on their website again today, sold out. So they re-released this 2 more times after the original. Probably done now, who knows, but whatever. Anyway, if you want Death Game, you can get it on eBay if it's not available on Grindhouse anymore, which again, right now it isn't, and it probably won't be again, but last I saw, these were pricey already, $70-$80, something like that. It's a very well done there's an extra Blu-ray here with a whole bunch of extras on here. Audio commentary with Colleen Camp and Eli Roth, interviews, all kinds of good stuff. Sandra Locke interview. Sandra Locke is now deceased, but apparently she did an interview at some point talking about Death Game. So anyway, it's a cool movie. You should check it out. So leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. It's Death Game. Watch it. Bye.